Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to the ESPN SportsCenter. I'm Chris Berman along with Dan Patrick, a special hour edition tonight. We sat in this chair last night at this time, shocked by the death of Hank Gathers, Loyola Marymount. 24 hours later, pretty much still the same feeling.
It's similar when Pete Maravich died. You just don't know where to turn to get answers, and we will try to come up with answers tonight. It will be at least a week before we know exactly what caused the sudden death of Hank Gathers. Loyola Marymount officials today declined to answer questions concerning Hank Gathers' medical history. Loyola Marymount was supposed to play on ESPN later tonight, but the West Coast Conference canceled the rest of their tournament following Gathers' death. Today, as coach, teammates, and friends look back with fond memories of a man who was not only a great player, but a great friend. Chris Myers was there.
Basketball was good to Hank Gathers. Life was unfair. The day after his tragic death, the court was empty, the campus saddened, the flag at half-mast. Loyola's alumni gym looked more like a chapel.
This is a great tragedy. There's no explanation for it that I know of. Our whole campus is grieving.
Gathers' teammates, after witnessing his last basket and collapse Sunday night, struggled with the reality of losing their leader.
Before the game in the locker room, Hank said, "I feel as strong as ever." And we just don't understand how a man that strong could leave us so quickly.
I'm almost 100% certain that if he had 10 more seconds, this is the way that he would want to leave us on the basketball court.
He was our guy as a player and as a person. He was the leader of our team. He was the fiber of what we are.
Unmarried and just 3 weeks into his 23rd birthday, Gathers was just getting back to top form on the floor after a December fainting spell, which was related to an irregular heartbeat. After missing 2 games, cardiologist Vernon Hattori put Gathers on medication and cleared him to play. Dr. Hattori met with Gathers' family Monday, but was unavailable for comment. Many medical questions remain. Lions head coach Paul Westhead said he saw no danger in Gathers continuing to play. And Loyola will continue to play when the NCAA tournament starts because they say Gathers would have wanted it that way. His love for the game was great, and so was his love for children.
Hank represents the little kid in all of us, because to Hank Gathers, basketball was play, and we all want to play.
Tuesday, a memorial mass for Gathers will be held here on the Loyola campus, a campus filled with people that a year ago influenced his decision to stay in school and earn a degree rather than turn pro. Gathers will be missed by all. He'll be remembered for his greatness, his enthusiasm, and his zest for life.
I know he's listening. I just love him so much. And I'm gonna miss you, Hank.
You know, the irony of all of this is prior to their game, Hank Gathers went out and ran the track. He had so much energy. He's the strongest guy on the team. He often bragged that he was the strongest guy in college basketball. He liked to skip rope before basketball games. So having all of this energy, I think that's where people have a problem understanding his death. How could it happen to somebody so healthy?
A problem understanding it in a lot of ways. I think as we talked last night here, I think we're reminded how fragile life is, even to those that appear the most strong, and sometimes also how unfair at times life is. So those of us that think that things are not going well, they're going real well. This was really, it's very difficult to comprehend on about 8 different levels. And you know, you didn't really have to know Hank Gathers to feel a huge loss today. You didn't even have to follow college basketball or even sports to feel the tragedy of seeing somebody who hadn't yet even realized his prime years being felled by a failing heart. Across the country from Los Angeles and Philadelphia, where Gathers grew up, the entire community felt the effects. It was even harder for some of his boyhood friends, several of whom play for LaSalle, who play the MAC finals a short while ago against Fordham tonight in Albany. Lionel Simmons, Doug Overton, Bobby Johnson all thought about not playing tonight. but then reconsidered, feeling the Gatherers would have wanted them to play on. Moment of silence before tonight's MAC final, LaSalle against Fordham. As everybody in the arena remembered Hank Gathers at the Palestra Atlantic 10 finals. Gathers hometown, the same feeling. John Chaney last night.
Hank Gathers just epitomizes so much of what life's all about. This basketball game meant nothing. This kid who's a soldier for a lot of kids. Champions a lot of causes. To hear that just devastates. How unfair is it?
I talked with some people involved in the Sun Belt final. Long way away, really. Most folks, no connection except through the sport of college basketball. And even they tonight said it was not quite the same. Very important game for that team, but I think all the way through this tournament, Dan, it won't quite be the same. He would want everybody to play basketball, but it'll always be remembered in some way as perhaps his tournament in some way.
Probably so. John Chaney, the Temple coach, he had recruited Hank Gathers out of Philadelphia, and I think that's why John Chaney feeling a little bit more of an emotional bond there.